Hua Hill is a solitary cone-shaped hill in the lower Yellow River Valley, located at the northeastern edge of the city of Jinan, Shandong Province, China. The hill is known for its cultural and historical significance as well as for its natural beauty. It has been an inspiration for Chinese artists for many centuries and was the site of the Battle of An, a major battle fought during the spring and autumn period. The name Hua Shan is sometimes spoken as Hua Shan and can be translated literally as Flowery Hill or Splendid Hill. The first character of the name has long been used as a literary rather than political synonym for China itself. The second character of the name is used for mountains and hills irrespective of the size. The name Hua Shan as well as the near homophone Hua Shan are both common names in Chinese geography. In particular, Hua Hill is not to be confused with Mount Hua in Shandong Province. Hua Hill is also known as Hua Hill. Hua Hill is one of the 9 solitary hills in the Yellow River Valley within and to the north of Jinan City. The other 8 hills are Wanyu Hill, K Hill, Biao Hill, Fenguang Hill, Northern Man Hill, Su Hill, Quang Hill, and Yao Hill. The hill has an elevation of 197 meters above sea level. Its slopes are covered with large smooth rocks and bushy vegetation growing in the clefts between them. The foot of the hill is flanked by small villages on the eastern and western side. To the east and south, the hill is also surrounded by a crescent-shaped row of ponds. A flight of stone stairs has been laid up the southern flank of the hill to the summit. In the times before the Northern Song dynasty, Hua Hill was surrounded by a lake known as the Magpie Hill Lake, named for the nearby Magpie Hill. Since Hua Hill appeared to float on the waters of the lake like the bud of a lotus flower to contemporary observers, it was given its alternative name, Hua Shan. Historical significance. In the year 589 BC, during the spring and autumn period, Hua Hill became the site of the final action in the Battle of An, which was fought between the states of Qi and Jin. During the preparation for the battle, the Qi army used the northern Man Hill as a staging area. The Jin army had its positions right at Hua Hill. The Qi army started the battle by attacking the Jin positions on Hua Hill, but the battle ended in a victory for the state of Jin. Eventually an alliance was formed between the two states. During part of the 20th century, a small fortified army base was located at the hill. Although the base has been abandoned, some fortifications in the form of bunkers and tunnels at the foot of the hill remain. Cultural significance. The natural beauty of Hua Hill has inspired the works of both writers and painters. During the period of the Northern Wei dynasty, the writer and geographer Li Daoyuan described Hua Hill in his commentary on the Waterways classic. Without a mountain range to support it, the peak alone stands gracefully and loftily. Its verdant cliff rises into the blue, tinting the moon with its green. Quote opening parenthesis closing parenthesis. The Tang dynasty poet Li Bai wrote about Hua Hill. The best-known pictorial depiction of Hua Hill is a painting from the Yuan dynasty era entitled Autumn Colors at Hua Hills by the painter and calligrapher Zhao Mengfu. In the text accompanying his painting, Zhao Mengfu refers to Hua Hill as the most famous mountain in the area, having been known from antiquity and unique for its sharp peak. Various rock faces on the mountain slope have been adorned with calligraphic inscriptions. Temples. The Wang Palace is a primarily Taoist temple located at the southern foot of the hill on gently sloping terrain. Its founding during the Jin dynasty is attributed to Chen Zhiyuan, a disciple of the Quanzhen Taoist Qiu, who in turn was the foremost disciple of Wang Chongyang, the founder of Quanzhen Taoism. The original purpose of the building was to serve as a Taoist temple dedicated to the 5 color gods gods representing east, west, north, south, and center. Over time, the temple has also come to include sites of worship for Buddhism and Confucianism. In 1532, during the Ming Dynasty, the palace complex was renamed into Zhongzheng Temple. The central hall of the complex was dedicated to two persons worshipped at the time, Feng Chufu and Min Ziqian. The two side halls were dedicated to groups of 19 and 22 people famous in the period, respectively. Later in the Ming Dynasty, the name of the complex was changed back to Wang Palace and dedicated to the god of the four seasons. During the Ming and Qing dynasties, temples dedicated to the god Bai Chia and the three gods of heaven, earth, and water were added. Part of the Wang Palace is the Taishan resting palace. It was used by the emperor as a resting place on his way to Mount Hai. The grounds of Wang Palace cover a rectangular area of approximately 3 hectares, which is completely enclosed by a stone and brick wall. Between the temple buildings stand old pine trees as well as stone stelas. In the 20th century, the Wang Palace was used as a military storage facility for about 50 years. It was reopened to the public in 1990. The books kept in the palace were destroyed during the Cultural Revolution. Some wall paintings in the temple buildings were also plastered over and covered with slogans of the Cultural Revolution during this time. The present-day entrance to the complex is the gate to the inner courtyard of the palace. The outer courtyard has not been preserved. The gate currently standing dates back to the Ming and Qing dynasties. There is no record about the previous gates, which are likely to have previously occupied its place. The gate building houses the statues of the four Zhigong Cow, four minor deities that are thought to be positioned on the border between heaven and earth in order to fulfill book and gate-keeping duties. Further up on the slope of the mountain lies the smaller Duo's Ludongbin temple, dedicated to Ludongbin, one of the 8 immortals. Hua Spring. The Hua Spring is located at the southern foot of the hill in front of the entrance to the Wang Palace. The Hua Spring mentioned in the traditions about the events at the Battle of An. The king of Qi is said to have used the pretense of fetching water from the Hua Spring as an excuse for fleeing the battlefield in the face of imminent defeat. Over time, the spring has fallen dry various times. Its most recent revival was undertaken during a renovation in the year 2000. During this work, a pool with an area of 17.6 meters times 10 meters and depth of 3.5 meters was excavated, bringing the outflow from the spring up to a maximum of 40 cubic meters per hour. Protection and development. Wang Palace became a Jinan City Heritage Site on September 3, 1979. The Huashan landscape area intended to protect its surroundings was opened on October 1, 2000.